Du Plessis.
Du Plessis.
I can see that. All right, guys. Welcome to the Tim Lauer Podcast. We're coming to you live from Island Time Studios. We got a special guest today, owner of the #1 home inspection company in Baldwin County and Mobile, Riaan du Plessis. Did I get that right?
Sort of, kind of. I'll let it slide this time.
Okay.
Please don't ever do that again.
I appreciate that. So Riaan, home loss inspection, great company, highly rated. You look them up on Google, top rated home inspectors. I recently bought a commercial building, did an inspection with Riaan, and most of them aren't this long, but it was an old building. It was probably, well over 142 pages of material that was really good information, a lot to dissect, but really helped me as a buyer to look at what I'm investing in and to make the best decisions at that point and get, what I need to repair, not repair. So highly recommend the home loss inspection. Tell me a little bit about yourself. There's a little bit of accent there. So maybe share a little bit of that in there as well, but tell us about yourself.
Sure. I was born and raised in Bay Minette, Alabama. I'm just kidding. I'm South African. I was born and raised in South Africa. Lived there for the majority of my life, actually.
Wow.
And it's still very much part of me, of course. And but I immigrated in 2006 after I met a lady from Mobile, Alabama, on a cruise ship of all places.
Nice.
And so we got married in South Africa, and there was talk of us possibly settling there.
Yeah.
But we decided at the end we wanted to come to the United States, and so we did. And I immigrated in 2006. So I've been in the country since 2006.
Awesome. Was she swept away by your accent?
There was, I will say this, there was one word that sealed the deal, and it was banana, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a waiter, I was a server in the dining room, and she was on a cruise with some friends. And I was telling them the dessert of the evening. I was, good evening, this evening we have banana cream pie, and they were like, oh my God, and they just freaked out. There was all these ladies, and I was like, what the hell? So the word banana is what sealed the deal.
Okay, awesome. I'm putting that in my notes.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
But you gotta say banana.
But it's banana.
Oh, banana, okay.
So you get it right.
Got it. So before home inspections, you've had some experience that helped you along the way as far as remediation, different things like that. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so prior to becoming a home inspector, I did work for a company called ServPro, and they do fire and water restoration. So when there's a fire, they go in and do all the cleanup. When there's water intrusions, flooding, they go and they clean it up. They dry out the structure. And with that, of course, you get mold. And so I got very involved with the mold testing side of it.
Okay.
And it just really interested me because there's so many different kinds of mold, and it's a taboo. Just the word mold is a taboo. People hear it and they freak out.
Yeah.
So having a better understanding of it as an inspector especially is so helpful. But so that's really helped me. Understanding a home even, because a lot of times we were cleaning out drywall and stuff like that. So it was a really good experience.
Awesome. So you bring a different aspect to the inspection side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you, what did you do? What were you doing right before home inspections?
So I was in the restaurant business for a long period of time. I kind of fell in it by chance when I was in South Africa, and it was good money, and I just
you met women saying banana.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to say banana, and then money gets thrown at me. I'm just kidding, but no, I mean, it's I was in the restaurant business for a long period of time, and I think you were in their business too at some point.
Yeah. It trains you for hard work and
exactly
multitasking. I mean, customer service. I mean,
think about it.
It really brings a lot of skills out.
I worked in this really busy place in Cape Town, which is, full of tourists and people from all over the world. But I mean, you are literally making contact with a different person, all day long. So your customer service skills are there. You've got to be able to maintain, your composure. So it really does teach you a lot. And then, of course, you're working crazy hours, Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, what's that? I mean, because you're working,
That's
you
right.
know. So
That's right.
yeah, it just I think everybody should serve tables and manage a restaurant.
So you had a little bit of transition time where you're kind of doing both in between. What did it feel like when you finally pulled the Band-Aid off, pulled the trigger, and went full-time business owner, entrepreneur, out in the world?
Man, I tell you, when you were just talking about it, my heart skipped a beat. I mean, for me, you know, I always see myself as a small boy from a small town in South Africa that had nothing really, you know, as a child. I wouldn't say we were poor, but we didn't have a lot, and there was always pass me downs, and I never saw myself, well, I always had this desire to be a business owner. When the opportunity finally arose, and I completely stopped working in the restaurant business because I was working nights, doing this during the day until I could, you know, get it off the ground. And of course, I started at COVID, so that anyway, so it made it even more challenging. But anyway, you know, honestly, it was a dream come true for me. It's still a dream come true for me. Every day, I'm still like, this is my business, you know, and it's such a great feeling, and it makes everything just worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah. And
the long hours, everything.
And shortly after that, you were able to start bringing enough income to where your wife, Courtney, was able to go into the business full time as well.
Yes. I mean, yes, that was, I don't think when we started out, I don't think that was even part of the plan. I was just, you know, see where this business goes. And then it grew. And, you know, I was inspecting and answering the phone. And I'll give you an idea. The 1 year I did almost 500 inspections. That's 500 phone calls that I answered. Yeah. So I was inspecting, answering, talking to people, and then I'd go home at night and then put those jobs on the schedule. And then you know, when I expanded out into Baldwin County, I realized there's no way. And so my wife, I went to her. It was a natural progression for her to get involved, and man, it's really changed the business a lot because people get that personal one-on-one with somebody when they make a reservation with us.
Absolutely. So Courtney just posted a what looks like a banana emoji.
Of course, yes. Yeah, well, you know, nice. I guess it still works 16 years later.
That's right. That's right. But that's awesome to be able to see yourself, and I worked in the restaurant business for many years, so I know how it feels to move on and see that entrepreneurship happen and kind of work for yourself and be your own boss, and it's amazing. So, like, what advice do you have to somebody? So let's say there's somebody in a similar situation. They're been working in the restaurant business their whole life. They've been working in any business their whole life. Sometimes it's hard to get out of those facets because you're making decent money. What do you say to somebody that is thinking about making that jump but maybe doesn't want to take the risk?
The first thing I'm going to say is, because this is what sticks out to me, is never give up, and what you put in is what you get out.
That's right.
So if you're starting a business and let's say you have your name and you post it on Facebook and that's pretty much all you're doing, you're not going to get much traction.
Right.
You have to go, listen, I'll work out in the field, I'll get my hands dirty all day. I'm not really a marketing type of person. And I had to step outside my comfort zone because, you know what, business isn't going to come to me.
That's right.
So you have to go out there and you have to grind every day. You have to live and breathe your business and never give up. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to go to that next level, because it's levels. And so, yeah, just never give up. And what you put in is what you get out. And that's very, very solid advice that I feel will help a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I think during that time, you probably got out of your comfort zone a little bit as far as like doing presentations in front of realtors, visiting open houses, you know, going to chamber events. Like, this was all new to you. I think you joined us for Toastmasters one time or twice. So this was all kind of new stuff, but it also grows you as a person and an individual.
It really does, yeah. And I mean, I'm telling you, since I've owned this business, my life has completely changed. Let me tell you that, and for the better, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never worked this hard before. I will say that, but it's all worth it because you know, our lifestyle has changed. I mean, it's just offered us opportunities, that I could never imagine. And I can't wait to see what's next, to be honest.
Yeah. So you say you're working harder, but let me ask you, you're playing harder too.
I don't really have the time to play anymore, but as you get older, you spend your money other ways.
Yeah.
So right. I'm kind of at that where I don't really, play that hard anymore. I'm investing it now.
Okay, good. That's smart thing to do.
So right now it's just work and no play, but it's okay.
Good.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly.
That's right. So tell us about some of the services you guys provide.
Okay, so first and foremost, home inspections. Now there's an array of different home inspections. We've got new construction, and let me tell you, the biggest misconception is if it's a new home, it doesn't need to be inspected. I can tell you, I just did one before I came here. And I'm not, there's a lot that is wrong. You've got to realize that houses are built by humans. Humans make mistakes. They cut corners. Anyway, so new construction, pre-listing, which is something I really feel is not requested enough. Yeah. Let's say you decide you want to list your house, and you selling your house is contingent on, you selling your house, and then you want to buy another one, right?
So it's contingent on sale, yep.
You've got to be able to sell your house, and then so you can buy this one. Now, let's say you didn't get a pre-listing inspection. The inspector comes and he finds something that you had no idea. Maybe it was up in the attic where you didn't see it, and the guy backs out.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, your world just collapses around you because you got this house, and so pre-listing is something I really would like people to really consider. And then of course condominiums, we do commercial buildings, and then we do mold testing, air quality testing, lead-based paint testing, asbestos. We also do sewer scopes.
Nice. Tell us what a sewer scope is.
So the sewer scope is the lateral line from your sewer cleanout to the street. And so what happens, people plant trees.
Yeah.
They don't know. Yeah. And they had roots, and so what happens is those men, they will grow through their pipe sometimes. They'll pierce it, or they'll break it, or because a lot of times when we send our cameras down, we see roots
coming into the pipes.
Yeah. And they compromise. If we're talking about homes in Midtown Mobile that have been there for 100 years plus, those pipes have been through the walls. So definitely recommend the sewer scope. It's a necessity, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great.
You got to think about it. Buying a house is probably your biggest investment you'll ever have in your life. Spending $125 extra for a sewer scope is well worth it.
Absolutely. Any of those tools in the arsenal. And I think you were still going on the list when I kind of stopped you at sewer scope, but you were getting into thermal imaging.
Correct. Yeah. Thermal imaging, which is great. A lot of times you can pick up moisture that you wouldn't have necessarily seen. You can also see if there's insulation, walls, ceilings, stuff like that. Anything that is out there, any new technology, I'm going to incorporate in my business. Yeah. Because I want to be the best out there. Why else would you be in business?
Yeah. So one thing I've learned from HomeBoss is if there's something to be inspected out there, chances are they inspect it. So I've had a time where we were down to coming up to the closing table, and there's a VA loan, I believe, and they had a house on well water that hadn't been occupied for a certain amount of months. So the VA requested this certain type of well water testing, and you guys do that as well.
Yes.
And it was, it takes a little bit of time to turn around, but they were quick to jump on it, get it in, and get it back in time to make the closing seamless. But, anything that's out there like that, check with Riaan, check on HomeBoss, chances are they could do it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we are set up with a lab in Fort Lauderdale, and these guys, they get a mold sample, we get the results within 24 hours. It's a really professional service. It's a very comprehensive report. They will tell you exactly what kind of mold you have. Look, look, everybody's got mold in their house, but what the lab looks for is they look for those elevated levels. That's why you take a reading outside, and then they make that comparison. And then they'll also identify if there's any toxic mold in the air by the readings that we take and the equipment that we use. So it's again, very, very great service. It's a great service to have. And if you have children with compromised immune systems or allergies and you're concerned about the breathable air, that's a great service for you.
That's awesome. Huge. So definitely check out Riaan. What they can schedule at your website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, lots of ways. You can go to our Facebook page. You can go to our website, of course. Google, call our number. You can text our number. Yeah, I mean, and you can access us 24/7.
So real simple. Here's the website. You go right over here, book now.
Yep.
All right. And look how easy this is. You just start filling out what service you want. You want residential, condo.
Exactly.
Fortified. We didn't even mention Fortified, but they are part of the Fortified program. They do renewals.
Yes. We do Fortified inspections also.
So if you guys don't know what Fortified is, chances are if you bought a home in Baldwin County that's 2014 or newer, except Adams homes, chances are it's fortified.
Correct.
And that fortification needs to be redone every 5 years for that certificate. And if you lose a certificate, you lose a significant insurance discount. Up to 40% of your insurance can be discounted by having a fortified home.
And you know what the problems we are running into is when we inspect homes, do you need to get that?
No. I forgot to turn my phone off.
That's all right. When we inspect homes, and a lot of people, first of all, they're not familiar with the Fortified program. So when we inspect homes, I will let my clients know, hey, this house was built in 2016. It's going to be gold fortified. Make sure you get the certificate. And what we're running into a lot of the times is that even the owner that is selling the house doesn't have that certificate. Yep. They weren't issued it. And so we're running into that a lot. And unfortunately, once that fortification's been awarded to that house, that's it. I mean, it's all got to do with your nailing patterns. So you can't just reissue that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to remove shingles to be able to see that. So it's, anyway.
Yeah, so you can't retro fortify a home. So if you don't get the certificate, it stinks. But they can renew it for you every 5 years. You want to get it renewed. Vital in Baldwin County. Don't let that certificate go to waste or expire.
Correct.
Cool. So we got the website up there. You guys are members of the Coastal Alabama Business Chamber. Courtney is heavily involved, I believe, as a diplomat. And she also serves on the Small Business Council, so always great seeing her out at the chamber events, kind of being the face of Home Boss when you're out crawling through attics.
Yep, that's right. I don't get to do all those fun stuff, but it is what it is. I enjoy inspecting anyway. Better. So.
And I've seen you having some fun at some golf tournaments and different things.
That's true.
You do a little taste of it every now and again.
Yeah, when she lets me.
It's a hard life.
Somebody's got to do it.
That's right. Well, Riaan, man, I want to thank you for coming on. Your inspiration to anybody out there. Someone like you or me can go out of the restaurant business and go off on their own and be successful and make a business out of it. That's an awesome testament to anybody out there. So you've done great, and you have I don't know if you want to call it a little bit of not a disadvantage, but coming from South Africa to here, I couldn't imagine going to another country and starting a business. So that's huge. That shows your work ethic, your mentality, your positive attitude to go get stuff.
I appreciate that. Just one thing, on that point, as a kid growing up in South Africa, you hear about the American dream, and, to actually live it is very humbling.
That's awesome.
And I'm grateful for every moment.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
but as a home inspector, I wanted to challenge you as a realtor to an arm wrestle, because I'm
always wrestling with inspectors all the time.
Are you going to bring it on? Come on.
home boss wins. The home boss always wins. Riaan, again, great job. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Love what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
You guys need a home inspection, give them a call.
Thanks, guys.